Yes, guys, welcome to this episode of Rio Presents. Joining me for this episode is Ste and Joel Bayer. 2 weeks in a row, Ste, man. Unbelievable. Joel, looking a little bit like you've had a night out. Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl. You can tell us all about that as well.
This is Joel Super Bowl Bayer you're talking to right about now. This is a winner. This is what it feels like to win a trophy. I can't believe it. The excitement is real. Oh my God. Did you guys watch the game?
Yep, I didn't actually watch the game. I saw the events of what happened. I saw the halftime show. I know that.
Oh, mate, incredible, mate. Kendrick looking right at Drake's face, Serena crip walking. It was incredible. But the game itself, really quickly, right? The game itself was mad. It was almost a whitewash, if I'm honest with you. This is probably the Chiefs' worst performance. But yeah, credit to the Eagles, man. Big fan base out there as well.
You know, sports cooked when the first thing both of you said was about the halftime show.
Yeah, I know. But that's the Super Bowl, isn't it? They think it's the biggest sporting event in the world. It's an entertainment, not sporting.
It's like, isn't it like 7th or 8th most watched sporting event in the world? Like, it's not even top 5.
If you ask an American, they will say it's the best when it's not. It's miles off it.
Yeah, I remember seeing one year. I think it was the first Pep Jose Manchester derby had twice the amount of viewers that the Super Bowl had.
Is that true? I don't know about that. You got to check that fact, man. But I know that they're trying to make the World Cup like that. They've actually got Drake booked already for World Cup 2026. Did you hear about that? Hey, I heard you lot scraped to win. Maguire, 90 plus 2. Sounds mad.
Yeah, it was a cup win, Joel. You won't know anything about that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, Steve, did you watch the interview I've done with Lenny Oro? What do you think?
Yeah, I like him. I think he comes across. He's quiet, isn't he? But there's a confidence underneath. I mean, he's young too, so you got to expect that. But yeah, I think he comes across well, and I like what he was saying about Amorim will kill you in training. To be fair, I think we need a bit more of that.
Obviously, that's starting. He's trying to set the culture, isn't he, Amorim, with that. But for a player to be coming out immediately and going, listen, he must have done a few things behind the scenes in and around them sessions that everyone knows, like, you need to be putting it in full throttle every session.
Friday night, 11:15 at night, Rasmus Højlund, who started the game, is taking part in a training session at 11:15 on Friday night on the pitch at Old Trafford doing the finishing drills. I'm here for it because you can't tell me that those players don't need to train anymore.
No, I don't mind that. The manager's looking for ways in which to motivate this team and fine-tune this team, so any moments he can get. And I think all the players, I'm sure, some of them will be going, bloody hell, what's this about? But when you're not firing on all cylinders, as players, you're thinking, what more can we be doing to try and get ourselves back on track? And if that is one of them, and you look back in a couple of months and go, actually, I can see the benefits, then you're fine. So United beating Leicester, by the way, guys. What do you think of that, Steve? Did you see the game? Did you watch any of it?
Yeah, I was there, and I was debating leaving all the way through it, to be honest, because I was thinking, like, what am I doing with my Friday nights? Like, I've been indoctrinated. Like, I need to throw my old man a text and just ask, like, was I that bad as a kid that you have to bring me to this? Meaning that I'm addicted for life now to this, that I can't get away from it. Because I don't mind us being bad at times. Like, obviously, you want your team to be successful and you want your team to win. But when we're boring, Rio, that's hard to take. Like, if you're bad, you can kind of revel in being bad. Joel knows about that, right? But when you're just boring, like, what do you do with boring? Fundamentally, football is a pastime for us. You got to entertain us, right? Not to the level of Super Bowl and all that kind of caper, but there has to be levels of entertainment in football. I think Matt Busby's got a quote about that's the primary job of what you exist to do. And that was from the 50s that he was saying that sort of stuff. But we're boring. And the way we're playing at the moment, and look, this isn't me saying, get rid of the manager, it's not good enough because we're boring. I'm just saying, factually, it is boring. It reminds me a lot of what we saw under Louis van Gaal, where we were quite effective against some of the bigger teams. But everyone's kind of really static in their positions. Like, they've almost got a station that they go stand in, and we pass the ball around from there. There's no rotations. There's no flair. There's no risk. There's no individuality. It just seems to me like we play really, really methodical football. I see everybody taking 2 or 3 touches every time the ball comes to them. There's zero desire to play off one. And I reckon that could be the most impactful thing that we would change, is if we could just start getting them to speed up the play and play off one touch. I saw a clip on Instagram the other day, and it's you sending a ball up to Tevez. Tevez has stepped away from his man. He's dropped one off for Ronaldo. Ronaldo's sent it back for him, and he's run around the defender, and he's gone and scored. And I think that's alien to this team at the moment. And that's why we're boring, in my opinion. That, like, there's no one taking a man on. There's no one trying to speed it up and play off one touch. It's just boring. I've got no other words for it. It's just boring.
Yeah, they are a difficult watch at the minute. I have to agree with you. It's hard to watch us at the minute, the way we're playing. And like, I don't know, I've seen Amorim talk about this, that actually playing football and with the ball is probably the hardest part, and creating that playing style that everyone understands. It's harder than the defending, but I don't think we're getting both sides of the game completely right yet. So it's still obviously a work in progress. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying it's time to panic, but like we said last week, I didn't really expect to see a few more improvements in some areas right now.
Real were 13th in the table.
Yeah.
And we're deservedly 13th in the table. It's not like there's some mad fluke here. You know, this isn't... I think Erik ten Hag got a real rough ride last year in terms of like the volume of injuries that we got. That wasn't allowed to be an excuse for him. It shouldn't be allowed to be an excuse for some of the other managers that are in the league dealing with injuries at the moment, you know, from Pep through to Ange. But I think what we've got at the moment isn't an injury situation. We've got probably a poor squad, which is, you know, is down to the management and the board to get that right and fix that.
All jokes aside, your squad isn't 13th bad. It's not. I
think the forward line's bottom half of the table, bad though.
Okay, I'll give you the forward half, especially now that Marcus is gone. That is piss poor. But when you look at everywhere else, it's not 13th bad. Even when he was there, yes, I know he didn't play all the time, but it weren't 13th bad, even when he was playing. And I think when you look as well at some of the players, you look and you've spent a lot of money, man. And I'm not saying that that's the end all be all. That is not a 13th position team.
They're just playing under duress, it seems to me. They're playing under extreme duress. They just look like a team that are just shouldered with more responsibility than they want to take on, with more expectations, with more kind of just look like a depressed group of footballers at the moment that are not willing or capable to be able to kind of shake off the shackles of a past regime and a glaring lack of confidence. And you hear the comments from Harry Maguire about that are shadowing the managers, that the players don't seem to feel confident or able to play at home. The run of results at Old Trafford has been so poor that I think now the boys have lost maybe that little confidence of playing in front of the crowd. And their last 3 losses under Amorim are all at Old Trafford, by the way. Newcastle, Palace and Brighton, all by 2-goal margins. So it shows you that it's almost like they can breathe a little bit when they go play away. And then if you take that even further, when players are leaving the football club, they're going and breathing even more. You look at bloody Antony, who's got a man of the match performance, I think a goal and assist in 2 games. It's like McTominay's playing like prime-time Jude Bellingham at the moment. Like, you've got Elanga's a flying winger. You've got all these players that are leaving the club that are looking like absolutely new, dynamic football players because the shackles are off and the cloud and the pressure of Old Trafford and the badge, all of that brings is allowing them to go, you know what, wow, what a difference that is. But normally what we do see is this new manager bounce, and I haven't really seen that with this squad. That's been a thing that that's just maybe I didn't worry me at the beginning, but because it's taken so long to see improvements, it is starting to concern me a little bit. But
do you know why the manager bounce exists? Because you are a manager that's suppressing a team, a manager that is underperforming either through confidence, through favoritism, through whatever reason. He is underperforming and therefore the team is underperforming. Whereas at United at the moment, I think people are not awake to the reality that this team is shite and it's not necessarily a manager that's underperforming. It's performing at the level that it's capable of performing at. We sacked Erik ten Hag, but actually the team was par for where it was truly rated. And you bring Amorim in, you're not getting a new manager bounce because the team isn't better than where it's currently performing.
That's not true, Steve.
that you don't get the bounce. When Gerrard leaves Aston Villa and you bring an actual qualified manager in that knows how to set up a football team and win games, they rise up the table because he's capable of doing that for them. Otherwise, this team is not capable. Go through the goals. We've got Amad Diallo, who is a rookie. He's our leading scorer. He's on 6 goals. Go through the teams that are in the rest of between us and the top 4, right? Go from 5th down to where United are right now. Every single one of those teams has got players that have scored more than Diallo has scored. And he's having a pretty good individual season. Rasmus Højlund, I don't even know how many goals he's got, 3, something like that. And then you've got like Raul Jimenez, he's on, what's he on? 9, 10? Iwobi, he's on about 7, something like that. This is Fulham that we're talking about. Fulham. I'm not talking about like, no, unwinnable. Ollie Watkins is in double figures. We haven't got double figures across our front line. The front line that we put out in a week, between them doesn't have double figures. Then you've got like Isak's on. Has he scored 20 yet this season? Feels like he has.
I don't think.
He's bagging left, right, and centre. Anthony Gordon scored more than anyone else in our team. And this is before you get to the likes of City, where you've got the Erling Haaland and that, or Cole Palmer at Chelsea, people that have like racking up nearly 20 goals. Go to Bournemouth. Kluivert's on 10 or 11. And Mbeumo, how many is he on? He feels like he's on 10 or something like that.
Chris Wood, Nottingham Forest. There's
nobody at Manchester United scored more than Danny Welbeck this season. You can't tell me that this forward line is good enough to be in the top half of the table. We said it in the summer. This team doesn't have goals in it. You was relying on Marcus Rashford having one of his 1 in 7 seasons. You was relying on Rasmus Højlund having his best ever season, Diallo having his best ever season, Garnacho having his best ever season, and Xerxes having his best ever season just to hit the top 10. There are no goals in this team. Goals win you games.
What did you think of Marcus Rashford with
cooking? He come on Aston Villa, yeah. And he was like the old Marcus of old. I know it was only for a few minutes, but I saw him chasing down players. I ain't seen him chase down players like that in years, mate. Honestly, came in, does a little nutmeg. Yeah, his goals in that performance was he's hunting down and he's tackling. I know he didn't actually get one in the back of the net, but it was good to see he actually put in some effort, linking in with the players. I see him drop a little nutmeg as well on one of the wing backs. And it was like that, Rio, he makes a nutmeg and then there was another player there. He's telling the player, no, leave it. I got it. He runs in front. Yeah, there was no end product to it. I'm not going to lie. But it was like, there was that electric excitement that you get from Marcus Rashford, and I'll be honest with you, I said it in our group chat the other day. If he does the right things in training and he stays hungry, he's going to be just fine at Villa. And he might get that move to Barcelona afterwards in the summer that he wants.
How low is the bar that running around with a little bit of effort is now praised?
It's true.
Joel.
It's true.
I love Marcus Rashford, but the guy's just had 3 months off. If he didn't run around and look like he give a shit, he would be absolutely and probably rightly crucified for doing that. Like, this is his first showing in front of his new fans. Like, it's the minimum expectation is running round. I'm not accepting from a player that was worth 100 million a year ago. I'm not accepting that running around and trying to nutmeg is actually worthy of any sort of praise.
Do you not think, Steve, with football and players sometimes there does come a time in some players' careers, unfortunately, that they just grow apart, and that was maybe the case with Man United and Marcus Rashford. It was once a fairy tale, but then certain things happened. Loads of different managers, loads of different ideas, loads of different inputs into where he should play, etc. Not probably seeing eye to eye on bits and pieces of different managers. Maybe become tiring for him, and that relationship with the club maybe just kind of dwindled away. Do you not think that can be sometimes? I know everyone's been looking for a lot of excuses and a lot of like reasons as to why, but it could be just that simple.
It might be, yeah, and maybe that is the case, but ultimately, Bruno Fernandes has basically been through the same ringer. No one's questioning his commitment when he steps out onto the pitch.
No, did you see Sancho's funny reply?
I haven't seen Sancho's reply, actually.
Marcus tweeted something like, I don't know, or Instagram messaged something like, great to have the support at Villa or something like that from the fans. And then Sancho responded with freedom and hands like that.
Wow. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Now, that's cheeky from Sancho because it wasn't a good performance by him this weekend. But I think overall, we've seen a very good Jadon Sancho. And
no, we haven't. Chelsea
no.
fans are fuming, asking if United have scammed them for him.
No, that was because they had a bad result. Didn't you hear what I started the conversation with? But overall, he's been good.
Overall, disagree.
Man, Steve, I've seen him at Chelsea versus what he was like at United, yeah. And to be fair, and it's not all Sancho's fault if people are not happy either, because obviously I believe that Maresca's slowly starting to get found out a little bit. But they've got this isn't their season where they're expected to do much. They just need to get through this season, get top 6, and then next season, that's where they're going to see what's really happening. But overall, there is no debate. There's a better Jadon Sancho at Chelsea than there was at Manchester United.
Yeah, because he's actually playing.
Yeah, but even when he was playing at United, don't get me wrong, he had like the odd game where, he did well against Liverpool and stuff like that. But the reality is we just wasn't seeing enough from Jadon Sancho. He's best when he's got runners, when he's got people making runs around him and he's able to play the little ball inside, etc. Or he's got Cucurella busting a gut to get round him. That's when you see the best of Jadon Sancho.
Just going back to that freedom message on social media from Jadon Sancho. It does, like I said before, it does seem like these guys feel a bit more freedom. They're getting more game time. The likes of Antony, assists to the goal on the man of the match performance. McTominay, like I said, is on fire
Antony
at the moment.
still shanked him over the bar, though. I've seen the highlights.
Yeah, well, I'm just going off what I've seen. The stats I'm being shown.
I think he got 2 man of the matches.
Who?
2 man of the matches.
Yeah, but I don't know how much he's taking a piss because his team lost in the second game and he weren't good. So I don't know how much of that is. But I also think McTominay's doing bits in Italy. Cool. Fucking Ashley Young and Alexis Sanchez went over, and Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling was pulling out fucking Baresi quotes when he went to he's holding his heart at the moment. Rio, you probably got another couple of seasons out in Italy, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still got to go out there and do it, man. You still there's players out there that are playing out there that ain't pulling up trees, that ain't doing it as well as we might have thought they would have done. You still got to produce them performances, man.
Yeah, it's a reject, man. Keane's gone out there and looking absolutely saucy in that at the moment. Like, it's just a dead league.
Listen, at the end of the day, you still got to go out there and perform when you're given a shirt. It's like in England, it's like at United. When someone signs for United, you're going, all right, go on, perform. Go on, do a bit. You still got to go out there and actually do it. So I'll give him credit for that, I've got to be honest. By the way, you see the kid Dorgu, by the way, what did you make of him? First game, new signing. Left or right wing back? I think a few people were upset he was playing right wing back, but if you look at his appearances and what position he played last season, a lot of it was right wing back as well. So it wasn't like a shock to him, I'm sure, if he come out and played right wing back. Everyone else was assuming he was going to play on the left. But he gets brought off after 45. What do you think, guys?
I thought he was probably our best player in the first half. My only issue with him playing on the right was that he had Diallo ahead of him, and you've got 2 players that have got like a similar build, that have got a similar dribbling style, that have got a similar level of technique, that are both looking to cut inside on their left at the same time. You could have thrown a blanket over the pair of them at times in the game. They weren't switching well. They weren't occupying different sort of spaces, and I think it probably would have worked better if he'd have been on the other side. Now, I know Amorim came out and he said, I wanted him on this touchline because I wanted to talk him through the game. Okay, that's fair enough, I guess. But then you could have switched him to left back the second half because he wasn't. He is match fit. He played a week ago in Italy. Like you could have took Delo off, who was garbage, and you could have played him left wing back, and you could have continued coaching him through the game, and you actually might have seen United stretching opposition a little bit. It was like him and Diallo kept trying to both of them check in at the same time, making the same movements because both left footers playing on the right hand side. They just seem to get in each other's way just a little bit. I think he was never going to come. I think we said this last week, didn't we? He was never going to come and be transformative to the team on his own. He needs probably another 4 or 5 signings, and he's still a young, raw player. I like some of the rawness about him, but he is raw.
You know what I thought was mad, Steve? I thought Dorgu coming on, you're going, okay, cool, he's playing on the side that he shouldn't be playing. And obviously he done all right. But it was funny how he got taken off and Dalot was still on. I don't think the fans were happy about that either, because I was a bit confused, and I'm thinking to myself, hang on, like this guy's supposed to be like ruthless, but yet Dalot keeps getting passes, and Dorgu, who for me had a decent start, got taken off. Why did he do that?
I don't think Dalot's looked good at all once, or maybe once actually.
Yeah, against Liverpool.
Under Amorim, he's been really poor under Amorim. I don't know if he doesn't know his role or whatever, but he's really fell off, because he was looking pretty decent at times under Ten Hag. He's just not really clicked for him. I know he's played on the left a lot. I know he can play on the left. I think he prefers playing on the right. I think his crossing ability is accentuated on the right, but he's really been really off it. And one of the main reasons why we've been crying out for someone to come in and play on the left. So for him to then sign Dorgu and Dorgu to play on the right, like I said, I know he can play on the right, but we all want to see him on the left, don't we?
Yeah, no, it's true. I don't know. I feel like this weekend was the first time that I saw fans come out and really start questioning Amorim. There was a lot of questions, and a lot of people are saying that could be a little bit out of his depth and he's not the finished article, etc.
Listen, I think it was. It's. I don't know. I don't think we can question him now or start raising huge doubts. I'm not in panic mode at all with Amorim. I think you need to give him that time. He's just been through one window. I think he needs minimum another two before you can start judging him. I think you need to let him get this season out of the way, see how we finish in terms of like form and identity. Let him go away in the summer and really have a kind of breakdown of where he went wrong maybe and where he can improve, what he got right, a real kind of analysis of that first year or first few months in charge, and then let him start the season and then get to Christmas and when you can really go, you know what, actually, let's look at it. And I think this season's got to be a write-off. He has to write this season off and concentrate wholly, obviously make sure we stay up, but concentrate wholly on trying to create some confidence within this squad, and then you can start implementing some sort of idea and identity that is synonymous with the way he wants to play. And that might be something that he needs to do, you know. Writing this season off may be the thing that releases that bit of pressure from these players and their shoulders become less tense and then a bit more relaxed, and they're going, actually, we're not trying to push for, or there's no demands being put on us. But the problem is that the demands from the fans that they want improvements and stuff might be even stronger than anything else. Because I don't think the Man United are stupid. They're realistic that the trophies aren't something we're talking about or even thinking about right now. So, yeah, I think behind closed doors, the manager I think he should probably start maybe looking at reinforcing that message across to the players so that they feel a chance to feel less pressure somewhere. He has to find where is that place where he can just kind of put unscrew that little nut thing, take it off and then let some air out and let the guys just go, actually, here we are. We can just see the game a bit clearer now and breathe a little bit and actually go into games feeling less pressure, especially even less pressure from the manager, because he's going to be putting demands on him all week. He's going to be wanting to see results performance-wise. And at the moment, he's not getting it. So everybody's on the edge of their seats, man, at the training ground, I'm sure.
Yeah, the players need like a little trip to Dubai where possible. I know that the schedule probably doesn't permit it because you lot are still in the FA Cup, but you need one of those trips that Arsenal take, man, where they just go away for a few days, they relax.
Yeah. It's mad because I've seen some of the Arsenal guys. I see Zinchenko and Sterling and Timber. I've seen the manager Arteta a few times and spoke a couple of times. So while he's been here, they're actually staying in the same hotel that I'm staying in. So we've done them at United a few times where you have the little mid-season break. They are good. They reboot you. I was lucky because I got to see Maradona once when we done it. It was in Dubai, I think it was.
No way.
And he came to a training session. It was unbelievable. The whole session stopped. It was phenomenal. Like, he came over and we was there. I was just thinking, oh, Maradona, I can't even train no more. Let me go and just sit down and take a picture. And there's a picture somewhere online of when he came. Van Persie and a few of the other guys were like, all of us obsessed. But they are good. They do give you a little bit of sun. Mid-season sun's always good for the skin and does rejuvenate you. But more importantly, you know what? We were talking about Dorgu, weren't we? Yeah. The new signing. We've actually got someone who's going to come on, actually. So I want to welcome him now to the pod. He's someone who knows him really well, and I've been speaking to lots of players in the Premier League about who are investing in their own body. I was actually at Elanga's house, Anthony Elanga, the other day at his house. He's got a whole room that supports his off-the-field stuff in terms of his body, his mind, his soul, his fitness, his preparation, his recuperation, and just investing in their own fitness, their health and their techniques with coaches, just to get that little edge in the game. And we've got a man here. He's Patrick Dorgu's fitness coach. It's quite cool. How you doing? How you doing, bro? You good?
Hi, Ryan. You okay?
Yeah, man. Good to see you. So
Joe,
do I have this
I'm
right?
doing
Does everybody
great, thanks.
they know you as Seedorf? Yeah, they call you Seedorf.
Yeah, please. They know me as Seedorf.
Okay, we'll call you. Why do they call you? Can you play football like Seedorf?
Well, what I can say that I was better than him, but they say I'm good like him. Yeah, to be honest, I was better than him.
Okay, cool. So listen, tell us how do you know Patrick Dorgu? Tell us where you met him. What were the things that he was asking for him to kind of improve? What was he focusing on, and what did you end up focusing on to help him improve?
Well, one the agent rang me. He told me that he had just finished under 19 season. He want me to make him sharp. We did everything, like passing, running, speed, agility. If you watch Instagram, you can see I do everything. Like, basically, he brought him to me to make him very sharp. So, work on his speed, his passing, his shooting, dribbling, and everything.
And could you see then that he was going to be a big star? Could you see then that this guy, he's got the potential to go to the top? And what made him different from the other people that you're training?
Patrick was very determined to be there. He has got this strong mentality. You know, there are some players, because I train a lot of Premier League players and all that. Twanzibi, Jeremy Frimpong and all that. They all have this same mentality that they want to strive for more. You understand? So when he came, he was 18 years old at that time. But his working ethic was really high. That's one thing I like about him. Anytime you are training him, he wants to do more. So I always push him too.
That's my phone. Sorry, guys. Before you go, that's my phone. I'm in a hotel, so my phone's just ringing. Sorry.
All good. And also, I just wanted to say as well, he's obviously playing in a position where fitness is important.
Yes.
What kind of drills are you doing to make sure that he's fit enough to play in the left wing back position and the right wing back position?
The position he plays, talent is good, but talent is not enough. He has to get the energy, the stamina, and everything. So I make him run a lot. Sometimes I put some things on his back.
How fit is he, by the way? Like, in comparison to you train, I think it's about 20 odd players that are playing high level football.
Yeah.
How in terms of fitness, where would you say he is in that big group of players that you coach?
95 to 100, because he works hard. Right? Rio, the boy really works hard. Joe, he trains really hard. So his fitness, I never doubt. He is fit.
I love that.
He's fit.
I love hearing about players that do extras as well.
Yeah, because Steven knows me more and know what kind of things I do. I make them run more. If you stay with me for a week, then we know that you are very fit. So for him,
okay, maybe I'll send my kids to you then. Get them fit.
I'm always here. Get to Steven. Steven knows where I am. Where to find me anytime.
How do you know Steve though?
Mate, he's in Manchester.
Oh, are you sending some of your paddock players to go get the fitness with him?
No,
a big killer paddock players.
The striker, Ryan.
Oh yeah, Ryan Katumba's been down there.
Yeah.
Big old unit. Yeah.
I like that when players are invested in themselves. I like when players are using their time wisely outside the game. I always used to think, am I going to be doing too much? Are the club going to be happy with it? And Could I get risk of injuries? But I think the guys, they're so well finely tuned now, and these coaches are very much more in the know of what's right and what's wrong as well. And they're doing things to kind of just add and supplement what they're doing at the clubs. It seems to be something that's working well, and the players are getting the benefits of it. He's just got a £30 million move to Man United. Antony Elanga, who I know is doing this, is really kind of, he's been, I think, one of the most ever-present players and available players for Nottingham Forest while doing this and adding this type of thing to his regime. So long may it continue for you, man, and good luck, George.
All right. Joe, one day I'll train you, Joe.
Don't worry, man. I'll be ready as well.
I'll be ready.
I'm ready.
Who is so real? Who is the man?
Joe's not ready. Joe is not going to be ready for you.
No, I know for that.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
You think Steve's the only one that's been training? You lot don't know, man. I've been putting in the work.
Joel,
I don't know if your work's I don't know if your work's intense enough, Joe.
I'm telling you, Rio, like I've got a natural fitness about me. I'm Congolese. Once I get past the pain barrier, give it a couple months, yeah.
I followed Seydorf for a couple of years, and I really like the sort of stuff that he's doing. He's right when he's on about he has him running up hills, he has him running upstairs. He has this water container that's on people's back. There's quite a lot of videos of Dorgu wearing it, and it's it off centers you, so it improves your core stability and things like that. And Dorgu is a seriously athletic player. And when you look at Jeremy Frimpong, seriously athletic player, and even you don't usually hear of players doing extras and it not working, do you? When you hear about players doing extras, it's always the ones that have risen to the top. He talks about Axel Tuanzebe. Axel, for me, Axel was one of the most natural defenders I'd ever seen, but injuries crucified him. Well, he's been working with Seydorf. He's playing every week at the moment. I love hearing about the players that are doing extras. There's a handful of people that do bits around Manchester that are doing, extra technical training or extra fitness training. I think Seydorf's quite unique because he seems to combine both the physical as well as the technical at the same time. And he's obviously getting good results from it with who he works with.
Well, you look at the basketball players, the way that they condition themselves through the season, the amount of training, even the match day, how much they train before the game to get themselves ready and to condition their bodies. Football's nowhere near the same. Sometimes we can play, the top teams playing 3 games a week a lot of the time, 2-3 games a week. And in between that, you hear the managers and players say, it's a minus day, match day, etc. All these, the new sayings they've got. And it's like, you can't overexert the body. And I get that. But it's almost like, well, if you keep pushing your body, training-wise, it might build a resistance and a resilience that you need. I'm not sure. I wish I'd have pushed my body more and listened to the science more than I listened to my kind of old head on my shoulders and the old school way of doing things, because I think that was the problem. The guys that were coming out of Loughborough and all of the scientific guys who were looking at fitness from a very different angle now and looking into the future and trying to bring us to the future with them, they had a big resistance from the old school players like myself and the older players and going, I ain't doing that. It doesn't feel right. My body, you're getting DOMs or you're feeling a little bit fatigued, etc. in the short term, but this is going to help you long term. But I couldn't get past the DOMs. I couldn't get past the short term thinking. So I never really allowed myself, along with many, many others. And that's where I always say, and people go, just because Ronaldo's your mate. That's where I go, I commend Ronaldo even more because he was still part of that old school mindset. Because he had the influence of all of us lot above him. But he went, no, I'm going to do it my way and this way because I believe it. My man's 40 and still banging in goals.
I had a conversation with a strength and conditioning coach probably about maybe a year and a half ago. And he was saying that he believed he could probably double or triple the in training output of players, but there would be no club that would be willing to sacrifice the 4 or 5 months of underperformance it would take for the adaptation to take place. He says, I could smash it. He goes, we could do a pre-season and the pre-season would last probably 5 or 6 months and we would absolutely destroy you, but in the process, build you back up. And then you would have 4 or 5 years riding on the wave of the foundation that you'd built, but no one's willing to accept that 4 or 5 month of the performance dip that you're going to get.
Okay,
but you know what? Just to can we just recap and go back to someone to Garnacho? With Garnacho, did you see the comments from Roy Keane this week saying that he wouldn't trust him to start him?
You ain't got an option though. So what if you don't trust him to start? You still got to play him. You know.
No, I just find it like when you're saying that with a young player like that, it's like, and I don't think his stats are unbelievable this season in terms of goals and what. I think he's got 7 or 8 goal involvements this season, right? But I think in terms of like impacting the game and really giving us a threat and putting teams on the back foot, he's probably one of the only players that does it in our team. And I think you can look at him and go, do you know what? His game isn't 100% clean. I get that, but that can be developed. But what he doesn't lack effort. He doesn't lack energy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pair of bollocks that he wants the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take the ball anywhere. He's got a belief. He's got that character and personality that says, I should be here and I should be playing. Give me the ball at all times. He wants the ball. And in a situation like now, when there's a lot of players that actually shy away from taking the ball when the team aren't doing well, he'll stand out like a sore thumb in that respect.
Agreed.
So, and I think when you look at him, he reminds me a little bit, not the way he plays at all, but the certain characteristics and personality of Nani, where his end product sometimes it leaves you thinking he sure he should have made a different decision there, especially when Nani was younger. It's improved massively later in his career, but one of the frustrations we used to have when Nani was young at United was that he'd get to it and then make the wrong decision, or his execution at the end to cross it wouldn't be clean and where you'd want it. But these players can grow into that when they're given time, when they're given the confidence. And I just think them type of comments there where you say you can't trust him is a big comment that for around a young kid. Who I think, pardon? Yeah, no, that's fine. I know that's what that Roy he might say that he might believe that, but I just think for when you're looking at the alternatives within the squad, if there were loads of other alternatives, I go, I'll maybe understand it. But when there's hardly anything else there, if anything, that offer what he does. It's hard. I find it hard to understand that one.
Yeah, I think you're both right. There is no alternatives, and I had him starting in my preview because like there's just a total void of options in terms of who you can play at the moment. You are literally looking at Ahmad, Garnacho, Xerxes, and Højlund, and 3 out of them 4 are going to play. So someone's playing. Simple as that. And outside of Ahmad, I don't think any of them deserve to start at the moment. But I think Roy's right. I don't trust him to start. I do think he is better as an impact player off the bench. I think his traits get accentuated against tired defenders. I think from the start, he's not as effective. I think if I was trying to break him down as a player, I agree on the good traits. I think some of the things that he does well, he's relentless. I think he's tenacious. You're right, he's brave. He wants the ball constantly. He definitely has got the confidence to play. But I also think like he doesn't necessarily have a bag of tricks. I don't think he's actually that quick. I don't think he's actually that skillful when it comes to being able to beat a man. I certainly don't think he's got the dribbling ability of an Ahmad or even a Menu, actually. And I think if a decent-sized offer came in that we could reinvest elsewhere, I probably would move him on, to be honest with you.
But this is the problem. This is what you guys do. And this is, I can't remember who me and Rio we spoke with. A lot of people focus on what someone's not good at. I think I'd rather look at what he is good at, which is what Rio's saying.
That's what I mean, Joel, Steve. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, we're looking at this year like we've got some unbelievable bad boy players in our team, like who are producing miracles and performing at a top level. We are walking around like snobs. We've got a player here where we're going, I wouldn't start him when he's actually a threat in our team, yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, it's not like we've got a team that are putting up trees, producing 8s and 9s every week. Like, we have to understand where we are. Our bar right now is very low. So someone like Garnacho, he cannot be sniffed at, and I don't think you can look at him and go, you know what, he's surplus to requirements right now. For where we are right now, he's a very, very good player for an offering for what we've got. That's what I feel. If you're looking at a team that's actually going for the championship and consistently doing well in Europe and whatnot, you may reevaluate that and look at it very differently. But for where Man United are, bloody hell, if a Garnacho was on the radar, was out in the market, he'd be someone who would be trying to buy.
It's true.
But now we've got him. We're saying, no, we surplus requirements. Let's get rid.
I think it's surplus requirements because of the way PSR's set up, and I think fundamentally PSR's
That's why PSR is shit, and it needs to be got rid of.
I think it's done the opposite.
Yeah, it needs to be got rid of because it's an absolute joke.
Rio.
Last one before we go. Ronaldo's quote of the week after turning 40. I think I am the most complete football player that has ever existed. People could like Messi, they could like Maradona, they could like Pele, and I respect that. But I am the most complete.
Simple. When you are that guy, you have the right to think like that. You have to think like that about yourself. It doesn't actually matter what anybody else thinks and says. The fact that he wakes up with that mindset is why I respect him.
Why do we accept Zlatan saying stuff like that, but not Ronaldo?
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Everyone champions Zlatan for saying stuff like that and goes, "Oh, what a guy! I love his personality and character." Yeah. And then when Cristiano says, "Oh, he's so arrogant and ignorant. How could he say that? So much better than him," when he's actually saying it from a position of power. If anyone's in a position to talk like that, it's him. That's all I think.
I always used to say, man, like, it was Messi is one of the most unbelievable phenoms that's ever walked the face of the earth. And if you think he's the greatest that's ever played the game,
yes,
he's first or second, right? So you're not far off, even if you're wrong. So, but I think Messi required a certain style of play to be built around him to get the very best out of him. I think you could have took Ronaldo and have him at Norwich one season, at Stoke the next, at United the next, at City the next, and he just scores. I think he just finds a way. I think the fact that he did it in multiple countries at all sorts of different ages, Joe, going to Italy post 30 and doing what he did over in Italy, doing it in Spain, doing it in England. You know, I'm not counting Saudi Arabia, but like doing it on an international level with a bang average international team. Like, I think he is massively disrespected. And I don't know if that was because he came through at United or if people decided to just worship what Barcelona were doing because they had this great team at the time. But you got to remember, that Barcelona team at one point supposedly had like the 3 best players in the world. Xavi, Iniesta and Messi were 1, 2 and 3 in the Ballon d'Or rankings.
And Busquets was probably number 5. No, you know the maddest thing is he's probably been top goal scorer for the last 18 years of his life. Of his career. The last 8, so he come to United, he wasn't top goal scorer for the first 2 seasons, I think it was, and 3 and 4, I think he was top goal scorer. So since then, since 2007, probably, just remember, since 2007 to 2000, and what are we now, 25? He's been top goal scorer in his team every year. Just let that sink in.
Madness.
And internationally as well, every year, been top goal scorer. It's unbelievable. Like, it's unprecedented, that, man. It's crazy. It's unreal. Listen, Ronaldo, just for the people know, Ronaldo is disrespected on a regular basis.
He is.
Anyway,
listen, I want to give a massive shout out to Plymouth as well. Doing God's work for us. Shout out to you guys.
For you. You're not in this competition, lad.
Hopefully this form, carries on into other.
What happens if United, because there's not a lot of teams left in this that United really should be worried about, although Plymouth might be one of them.
Are you winding me up? What? We're worried about everyone, Steve. Man United at the moment, we're worried about anyone we play against.
Meanwhile, we're in the hat. Liverpool can't say that. Arsenal can't say that. Some teams in here can't say that. Tottenham can't say that. Not like they were going to win it anyway.
Anyone we play against, I'm worried.
But what happens if United pull out another trophy? 3 seasons on a bounce in what is the official Manchester United banter era?
I would be doing that. I'll be doing this every time we come on next year.
It don't matter, mate. I don't watch soccer anymore. I'm an American football fan now, mate. Go Birds.
All right, guys. Listen, it's been a good afternoon, man. Well, good morning, sorry. And so I've enjoyed my time with you guys as usual. It's nice to have the team back, man. I like it.
Appreciate it, man. Steve, when we're gonna go train together?
Joe, you don't want that smoke.
Yeah. We'll see when I'm back. All right.
Let's get you down with Seedorf and see what happens.
Let's do it. I need a couple.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Right. Take care, man.
Peace.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Real Presents. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be here every Monday throughout the season, so tell your mates and all get involved, man. If you've got a point you think we should be discussing or want to put us on the spot with a question you want answering, get in touch using the fans first at rioferdinandpresents.com email address or use hashtag RFP on social. Make sure you leave us a review and follow this Rio Ferdinand Presents feed and you'll never miss an episode. See ya on the next one.